Alright, so hello world, welcome back to another Django tutorial. This is the last component tutorial, which means that this is the last component I'm going to introduce to you before we're going to do a project in the next tutorial. So, today, now let's go ahead and dive back straight to where we left off, this admin dashboard. So I would like to talk a little bit more on admin dashboard. First, you can see we have two things: authentication, and authorization. This is one. And then you can see we have groups and users under it. So this is what we're going to focus on today. But for now, let's take a look at authors. So if we can click go ahead and add an author if you want to. So we're gonna go ahead and add an author. And I can say J.K. Rollins. And then I will go ahead, click on the save. And then now you can see author object number 2. So if we add a stir method, it's going to display whatever is a stir method there. But since we didn't, it's fine. We'll just remember our author object number 2 is J.K. Rowling. Then what we can do is go back to books. And then in here, we can add a book. Which we can say author is, you can see it's a drop down now. And then ISBN is I don't know, but you can type a title saying Harry Potter. I've probably it so many times he even remembers it. Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone, and then you can add ISBN right there. But that's how you can do it. You can also modify the change. That's basically it. Our Django admin, as you can imagine, this is grow bigger and bigger. Have an admin dashboard can really helps. And luckily, this is built into Django, so you don't have to create an admin dashboard, nor need to install third party like Flask. I don't know. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go look back to our code in here. So sorry for not be able to show you the full screen because I'm recording again using the OBS Studio, so I don't know how I can show full screen. But we're just gonna leave the app keep running, and then we're gonna go ahead and create a new terminal there. Let's give it a sec. Alright, so here we will say is Python stream manage.py. We'll create our final app. Let's call this users. I forgot to start that. Users. Let's go create that app up. Good, so let me go now refresh. And now, indeed, we saw the users here. Alright, so now what we'll go ahead and do is, first we'll talk about so now what we'll do is we'll talk about users authentication. So let's go ahead and create a function. So let's go ahead first and initialize everything. So in Django's app in URLs, let's go ahead and add that. So add this, add our new users, pass users, include users.urls. In settings here, let's go ahead and add our final components users here. And then in don't need this anymore. In users.py, in users folder here, let's go ahead and add urls.py. and then say from Django dot URLs import pass from dot import views. Dot just means current directory, and views is like the file name. So we can access the function using dot notation. Oops, sorry about that. I accidentally resize it. Make it. Sorry about that. This is for oh shoot. This is the first time I'm using OBS Studio, so like first and second time ish. You know what? That's it. Alright. Now what we can say is what we can do now is say from, so now we can create our patterns equals to, can say pass. Let's just say we're gonna create for route. First is index route, start index, and now name gonna be important. So we're gonna call this name index. Second pass, we're gonna call this register. We can say views dot register view, and the name just gonna be register. Third is pass slash login, and then we call this views dot login view. Name is login, and then lastly, let's create logout as well. So views dot logout view, name is logout. So now probably are thinking, if you watch my fast tutorial, really, are we gonna go do everything again by using Django style? Well, yes and no. First of all, obviously gonna use Django style, but you need to know that using Django can make our life really easy. So what's that mean? Well, it turns out that we don't really need to implement all the functionality that's actually doing the work. We just need to implement the skeleton, so to speak. So what's that mean? Well, let's go to views.py and start to implement. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and create a restricted access. So the user must be logged in before they can view the index route. So what we will say in the index route is define index request, and then here what we're going to say is if request the user, if not request dot user dot is authenticated, we'll go ahead and return. We're gonna say from Django dot http import http response and http response redirect. So Django make a little bit complex on how to return stuff. So if you want to return a string, you must using http response class. Otherwise, it's gonna give you an attribute error. Response redirect. Okay. Permanent redirect. We're not gonna be using that. Alright, excuse me. So now, okay, apparently got an error. Let me just take a look here. Yeah. Alright, so now in views.py here, what we're going to say is if it's not authenticated, so it's going to return true if the user says authenticated, otherwise it's going to return false. So in here what we can say is we're going to return, and we're also going to say from Django.urls from Django.urls import reverse. So reverse is how is like we can use the name. So It's like URL4 in a Flask, where we can use the name that we specified in this URL.py here. So we can say HTTP response redirect to reverse. We can go put login here. So login is a name of the route. And then if the user is not authenticated, then we're going to do that. Otherwise, which we don't need to do that since we're return already, we can say return render request and then we're going to create a template. Oh god. Alright, and then here we're going to specify users slash login. No, wait. My bad. Is user slash index.html. So now, as always, let's go create a templates folder in number users. So we can say templates. And then here, you can type first is we're going to use template inheritance layout.html. And then we can say we're going to use emit this time. And then just going to call this users. Body is, let's just leave this as block main. You can practically call this anything you want. Just make sure you have a block there and an end block here. Alright, and now let's go ahead and create our index.html. Extend user slash layout.html, and then block body, or block main. What we're gonna say is we're gonna need to say h1 hello, and then it turns out that for all the user's information, you can directly access in Django. You don't even need to pass as a variable, not Django's templating language. What you can say is request.user.firstname. So this is a this is a way that you can access the first name. You can also access the last name, because the user the last name, the email, the username. So we can say hello. That's all will be our index.html. Alright. So now we finish our index.html, and now you can see we have you must log in to access this page. And then Django also have an add login required, which we'll not talk about in this video. But if you want to take a look, you can take a look on Django's documentation. And now what we can say is let's go ahead and implement login.html. So first is let's go ahead and create the login view, which you can say here, login view. And then here, let's go ahead and put request here. And then if request dot method is equal to post, which means the form gets submitted. I'm not going to do anything for now. Otherwise, what we're going to do is going to say return render request users slash login.html. So you can imagine that login must have a form in some sort. So what we're going to create is the form. So we can go ahead and say here, class login form. let's say from Django import forms. And then login forms, what we're going to say is extension forms.form. And then what we can say now is provide a few parameter. It's only two. It's first is username equals to forms.char field max length is, let's just say 100. We should create minimum length also, but we're not gonna worry about that. And then we can say username here as a label. And then if you want to log in, you also need obviously password. Forms.char field max length is also 100. Label is password. Let me just add some limitation right there. Right. And now we can pass this as a context. So here what we're gonna say is form is login form. Alright, so now let's go ahead and implement our templates for login.html. So in here, what we're going to say is let's call this login.html. And then here we're gonna go ahead and create all the not doc type. Gonna extend layout.html. Okay, so in here we're gonna say in login.html is we're gonna create a form. And then notice that in this time, I'm going to use a fancy action sign. So this is the last micro components. I'm going to try to tell you all of these little things. So URL is a way to, it's similar to reverse. And it basically just get the reverse of this URL's name. So it's going to try to find login name and then get the URL and put it here. And then let's go as a method is post. Since we're creating something that involves to user's credential. And then in here, we're going to say, recall that when we talk about form, if it's a post form, we need CSR token for security. And then let's put form here. Let's pass it as a context. And now let's just say input type, submit. Let's give an optional value. Let's just say login. Alright, so now if we go and take a look, let me make sure there's no error running on our Alright, let me try to go ahead and refresh on the form and see what's happening. Okay, it's gonna be another long video. Okay, let's refuse connect. Let me just go ahead and restart the server really quick. And now we can take a look at what's happening here. Alright, let's run server again. And where the science can get started with running. It takes unexpectedly long time to run the server for some reason. Alright, there we go. Let's see, did we get an error or not? Okay, so it says users.view has no register view. Oh yeah. So now we need to go ahead and implement all the views first. So we can say now is define register view and logout view. So define register view. Just gonna take requested parameter. We're not gonna worry about implement that just yet. And then so we're gonna implement logout view. Oops, I don't know why the browser just show up. Right, that right there. All right. Now let's go ahead. Wait just a sec for this to get refreshed. All right, looks it's all set. So let me go and navigate on my Chrome first. /users. Okay, yeah, so I forgot to log out from the admin. So just a sec, guys. Let me go log out first from my admin. Log out. And then if you log back in as a user, so if you take a look now, I'm gonna switch it to the Chrome so you guys can see it. Yeah. So now if I go ahead and navigate to /users, now I press enter, you can see it redirect me to the login, and then it says template does not exist. Yeah. Wait. Template does not exist. Okay. Yeah. I misspelled login. Okay. This is so turns out that I misspelled login here. And then if I add an I here, and let's go ahead and take a look. I'm just gonna run that again. Alright. Let's go wait a sec for the server to reload. Alright, looks great. So now if we refresh again. And now what we should see, hopefully, is and now what we saw is a form with our username and a form with the password. Okay, so that's great. And now what happened? What should happen if the user actually submit the form? Well, now let's go ahead and implement the post request during the in this login. Yeah. So first is we'll do all the form validation stuff. So form equals login form. Login form here. And then we're gonna say request. I'm not gonna let this terminal running on here. Request.post. And then we can say if form dot is valid. We can say pass for now. Otherwise, if the form is not valid, we're just gonna return HTTP response form not valid. And then if form is valid, what we're going to say is here is when the Django comes really powerful. What we'll do is actually not writing stuff on our own. What we'll do is actually import 3 modules from or 3 function. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 function from the Django from Django. So in here we can say from Django dot contrib .auth import authenticate login and logout. So not load, what the heck? Logging in, log out. Now I have to type slower because my computer is way too laggy. And then this is actually gonna handle everything for us in login and logout. We're going to talk about how to register using just a second. So in login view, what we're going to say is we're going to first, and now we're going to get the data. So what is the user's username? Well, here's user's username, form.cleaned data username. This is user's username. Now let's go and get a password as well. Oops, in here I forgot to specify one more thing. Is want to make sure it's rendered as a password, so we need to specify widget equals to forms.password input. And now this looks great. And now a password equals to form.cleaned data password. And now let's go ahead and authenticate user. See if the user does actually exist. So you're gonna say authenticate request, and then I'm gonna check username because username, password is password. So it's going to return none if the user doesn't exist. So you're gonna say if user is not none, which means it does exist. Now what we're going to say is let's go and log the user in. But just simply use the login function, passing request, and the user that we get from authenticate. And now what we can do is we're done. Basically we're done. And now we can return HTTP response redirect to our page, to our index page. Let me go and put a quotation mark here, index. Alright, so this is going to return you to the index page if the user is not none. But otherwise, if the user is none, what we're going to say is we're just going to return it simply an HTTP response invalid credential. We can just say that. To make it more better, we can just return as a context. But for now, it's just going to keep staying simple. So this is how we can log in. And now let's go ahead and start worry about register because we really need to register before we can log in. Technically, you can register a user manually in admin dashboard, but what we usually want to do is that user able to register themselves. So what we're going to say is from Django, we're going to import another class from Django.contrib.auth.models import user. So this is the users class that we're going to use. And then let's just go ahead and create our register form. So it's going to look really similar to the login form. So we're going to actually have 5 pieces of information. That's we need to collect first name, last name, email, username, and password. We're not going to have a field for confirmation password. Okay, max length is 100. Password, yep. And now we can just add first name equals forms.char field. Max length is 255. Hopefully nobody's name is longer than 255. I'm not gonna put a minimum length there. And then label for readability purpose, we're just gonna say first name. And then now we could say is. Oh, wait, I'm gonna comment here. Alright, so this is first name. Now let me go and copy this since where else we're gonna have a last name. Except it's first, it's gonna be last. Last name here. God. I don't know why it's cost so much time because we're so lagging to wait for it. Last name, username, password. I also need email. So email, we're gonna use email field. I think we have that as one of our field. So let's say email here, and let's say email. What's that? We're not gonna talk about max links. Let's just say email here. Alright, so this is our login. It's not a login form anymore. It's called register form. And now what we can do is it's going to have a similar structure as login view. So if we say request a method equals to post, what we're gonna say is let's pass for now, and then we're gonna say else. We're going to say return render request users slash register.html. But if you guys have some good idea of what recording software should you use, please comment down below. I don't really know what recording software I should use. So register is here. Okay, now I don't know why sometimes you're gonna see the browser. I hide the browser. I don't know how to use OBS Studio. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to copy the login.html. So it's going to be really similar except the action. We could possibly create a field that's going to just extend from the login.html, but to keep it simple, we're just gonna simple copy paste register.html here. And then now what we're going to say is let's put our register.html here, and then instead of register login, we're gonna put register. Says our token and then value. Let's go to register. All right, looks great. Now the last thing we will do, not the last thing. Now let's go back and implement our when it's post. So what we can do is check the form is valid or not. So we can say if. So let's go and create a new form. Let's call this register form. Request.post, and then if form dot is valid, then what we can say is I'm gonna pass for now. Otherwise, just return HTTP. Okay, why OBS Studio? Like I can literally, so it's really hard for me to record it because I need to see the both OBS Studio itself and then also the VS Code on the same page, and then the VS Studio must be big, so it's gonna make left really miserable. Anyway, HTTP response gonna say form is not valid, and then yeah, so I can literally see when I switch to Quorum. I'm like, why did you just switch to Quorum? I didn't even press a button. So we can now go ahead and get all the data we need, which is first name equals to form.cleaned data equals to first name. Let's go ahead and do the last name as well. Okay, we need 5 of them. So last name email, username, and password. The only problem I can think of is that we don't have email field, but I think we do. I think we do have email field. And now what we can say is we can simply use the create user method from the that we imported from the user class. So I can go and say user dot objects dot user equals to user dot objects dot create user, and then what we are going to say is say first name. Yes, switch to Chrome again, not switch back. I don't know why that happens. First name is first name, last name is last name, email is email, username is username, password is password. Alright. Oh, I spelled it correctly. Great. And now, no, I didn't. First name equals first name. Last name. I don't know why I have additional sign here. Last name. Because last name, email, username, password. And now, as always, we need to make sure we commit the response to the database. So I need to say user.save. You can see it's really similar to what we did in the shell. How we create a user. And now, which we are just gonna let them log in, make sure they remember our credentials. So HTTP. Usually they just let you log in with your create account, but I don't usually do that. HTTP response redirect reverse index route. So now they can go back to index, and now we are all set, I believe. Okay. Form is valid, otherwise doing that. Okay. No, it's not index. Okay, technically it's gonna do the same thing, but just say that. So now what we're gonna do is implement the final logout view, and then so logout is even more simple. We just need to say logout. And then literally pass request as a parameter, literally, and then we're done. So now, but we need to make sure we return response. So you can just say return HTTP response redirect reverse to the login route. So you might ask, why do I need to use reverse? You don't have to, but it's just better in programming than hard-coded, as long as your name and the URL stuff I don't change. And now let's go back to our Python and then see. Okay, it actually looks pretty good. It says everything works. Alright, so now let me go ahead and switch back to our list. So now what we need to do is let's go ahead and do some manual testing. But we're also going to talk about how to test in Django, which is actually much better than testing Flask. So let me go ahead and refresh this page really quick, because everything probably get updated. Take a hell long time to get. Excuse me on that. And then now what we can do is to type our username. So I didn't create this user. If we type login, what we should see is indeed invalid credentials. And then now let's go ahead and register a new person. Let's just say that. Register. Did I forget to return the form? Okay, so let me go ahead and take a look. Yeah, so I forgot to return a form as a context. Let me go ahead and turn Visual VS Code back on here. And then in here, what I'm gonna say is pass as a context form is register. Let's create a new instance of register form. Sorry for making this video too long. If you want to, you can pause it and yeah, or just read my blog instead if you want to, which is available at davisblog.blogspot.com. Anyway, back to our registers. Let's do a quick refresh. Server's offline now again for some reason. Now it should be good. And now let me go hide this. And just wait a sec for our form to get displayed. And now you can see our field to get displayed. So for first name, I'm just going to use the dummy person. Alright, let this finish loading first. I'm just gonna type Harry Potter, H Potter at Hogwarts.edu. That's how you spell Hogwarts. Username Harry, password. Now you can see it's a password field, as you can see. And then let's go click register, which hopefully leads us to register. I got it here. Let's take a look. What the hell? Okay, spell mistake again. That's just so great. So now I'm gonna switch back. That's the only bad point. So if I do screen recording, I need to click, but I have to switch back in Studio. So in here, I don't know why I type a semicolon here. Let's just switch it back to last name. Alright, hide this again. Let's try to register Mr. Harry Potter. Who do you guys like more? What's your guys' favorite character in Harry Potter? Comment down below. Like, comment all random stuff, it's fine. Let's see. Performance system checks. It's good. Now, if you try to refresh again. Alright, so now if you try to fill out the information again, which we hopefully be able to do. So you can say Harry. And also take care of hashing password, I believe. Harry, come on, Harry. Alright, Potter. Harry Potter at Hogwarts.edu. Harry. Let me type a password for him. Let's register. Alright, so now indeed we prompt back to our login. So now I'm just gonna fill out the information, Harry, and the password I gave to him. Hopefully we logged in. Please tell me we logged in. And now what we saw is we redirect to here. And now you can see we got the first name. You can also use request the user, the email to get the email address, or the last name to get last name, or anything. So this is it for users authentication. There are also a permission stuff you can do. You can check out the Django's documentation, which I will link it down to the description below. But for now, thanks for watching. Please take care of yourself and each other. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and stay safe.